This is the Russian Dynamite, Masha Slamovich.
Becca here.
This is Not America's Sweetheart, Davian. And
It's Billy Starks. And
the super fly guy, Trayvon Jordan.
This is the fly side flyer, Jalen Brandon.
Hardcore Princess, Jules Malone.
Hi there, this is the Bubblegum Princess, Alexia Nicole.
This is the Brazilian Wonder Woman, Christy Jane.
This is the baddest black belt, Chennai Kai.
This is Kid Bandit.
The smash hit Joel Bateman.
This is Robin Renegade.
Cody Hawk.
Brutal Bob Evans. And you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
This is the Thunderbolt, Mr. Power-Up, the man known as Viggen, and I am with Wrestling with Entertainment, and I hope you're having a great time, and don't forget to power up, power up, power up.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I'm, of course, your host, James J., and it's a great day for wrestling, because we are wrestling with Mr. Power-Up, Viggen Thunderbolt.
Oh, hell yeah. That's a hell of an introduction. Hey, everyone. The Thunderbolt, Mr. Power-Up here. I wrestle out of Sweden. I wrestle a lot in the Nordic countries, mostly, though I try to get out. You can follow me at VIGGEN_Thunderbolt_V on Instagram, which is where I post most of my stuff. I will be wrestling in Copenhagen next weekend, and the weekend after that for the sort of famous Roskilde Festival, which will be the first time wrestling will be at the Roskilde Festival, which is at least a somewhat famous music festival. So that's going to be really, really exciting. I'm really, really excited about that with Nordic Elite Wrestling, one of the premier wrestling organizations out of Denmark currently.
And where can we find merchandise?
I do not have an online merch store. But if you message me, I will gladly find a way to get you a Power Up shirt so you can get yourself a piece of Power Up. if you would be so inclined.
Oh yeah. Right. And you don't have to go looking for it. All of the links to all his social media will be in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox. Alright, let's get into it. You work for Freedom Pro Wrestling. Can you tell us about your relationship with the company?
Absolutely. So Freedom Pro Wrestling is based in Stockholm, Sweden, together with another company, sort of Stockholm Wrestling, which is sort of the progenitor. In a sense, Freedom Pro Wrestling is the group. It's by the wrestlers for the wrestlers. So we make sure to put on shows, make sure to support our own wrestlers, and make sure that every penny that goes into Freedom Pro Wrestling just becomes more professional wrestling. As one would understand, pro wrestling is limited in Sweden, so we try to make it grow. That's sort of the gist of it. I suppose I'm one of the founders of Freedom Pro Wrestling, and though we're still small, we've been getting more and more people getting in and helping out, and we've had some success lately. There's always some downsides, but we've seen some pretty cool possibilities, and hopefully we'll see some growth. So hoping for the future with Freedom.
It's interesting you brought up, you're one of the founders, because I was gonna ask you, you're low key one of the promoters of Freedom.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to call myself a promoter in that sense, because a promoter has a more of a deeper stake and also a personal let's say that I am a driving force in the project of Freedom Pro Wrestling, but calling myself a promoter is that's a tough call. Maybe I am one of the promoters in a sense. Yeah. I just feel like that word has a lot of connotations that sometimes I don't want to necessarily affiliate myself with.
I kind of get that. But are you bringing the wrestlers in? Are you like booking the matches? Who wrestles who?
Yeah. Well, I don't. I used to.
Okay.
I used to do all of that, but I've delegated. I've delegated it in various ways, and we've sort of spread the responsibility so that it's not just a one man job, a one man gig. Because for one, that job drove me nuts. Being a one man promoter and booker and showrunner and everything, that will kill you.
Yes.
So we've found, and the ambition was always for it to become a communal effort. It's a nonprofit organization, and so it's structured in that way to begin with. But currently we have several members doing the various parts. I'm currently in charge of the economy.
Okay. And I'm assuming that's less stressful than all the other responsibilities of a promoter.
Oh yeah. I mean, putting together a card and making sure the truck is rented and making sure all the wrestlers have the information of, like, are you coming? Do you know where the venue is? When are you coming? That really. But I made it work a couple of times, which is what was needed. I in a sense, I had already done some of those duties for the other promotion, Stockholm Wrestling, which is what gave me the confidence to do it on my own or as a nonprofit. So you learn on the job.
I mean, when it comes to pro wrestling in Sweden, it's Stockholm and it's Freedom. Those are the two big companies, and like you said, you're one of the founders of Freedom. So what does it kind of mean to you to be to bring pro wrestling to Sweden in a different sense of to be the alternative to Stockholm in a sense?
There have been and are more promotions. There's one based out of Gothenburg, which would be our West Coast, and Stockholm being the East Coast. And then we have also a promotion in Malmö, which would be the southern parts. So we have let's say 3 territories of West, East, and South. And each has a fluctuating amount of promotions popping in and out of existence from time to time. But I would say that for me, I'm also one of the trainers at Steel Tracks, which is a training school in Stockholm, where we train the new wrestlers. And having done this for over 12 years, my main goal in Sweden is to make wrestling in a way that makes people go, holy shit, not only do we have wrestling that is impressive, interesting, engaging, and fun, and also bone-shatteringly powerful. And so to me, I want to join professional wrestling. I want Sweden to have a unity. a unity where we respect each other, where we help each other, where we can support each other and grow new talent and show them the way upwards. It's for a long time we had a little bit of we had an old guard, and the old guard didn't like when the new guard came along and started taking up spots and stuff.
Right.
And it's of course it's a natural thing, but also it's very important that we who are the old guard support the new guys and show them the way and make sure that they feel included and supported so that they can try new things and grow and become better. So my whole thing is power up, really. I want Swedish wrestling to power up. I want to teach people how to power up. I want to make sure that like the scene powers up. Everything is just power up, really.
Now, keeping up with Freedom Pro, you are the second ever Freedom Pro Wrestling champion and current Freedom Pro Wrestling champion, holding the title for over 400 days. What does that kind of mean to you?
Unfortunately, I just lost the title at the last Freedom Pro Wrestling. I lost it to Emilian Lewis, who is a rising star out of Nordic Elite Wrestling, and also the current title holder of Nordic Elite Wrestling, the current heavyweight champion there. And what it's meant to me, holding that title is just the same as what I was speaking about earlier. I feel like I have to represent and lead the way in a way that makes everyone who comes into wrestling and sees me like, okay, here's a guy who always lifts the ring. Here's a guy who looks beefy, who wrestles like a big, strong wrestler, and who's nice in the locker room and is supportive and inclusive. I want to show people that this is the peak, or like this is the current peak. I want you to surpass me. I want you to put me as a benchmark and go, holy shit, this guy doesn't take breaks, and that's the same with the title. I want to show people that Swedish wrestling is serious and that we put our backs into it. God damn it! and of course, young Lewis he's like one of those. He's just a fantastic athlete, and he has so much charisma. Like he just has that that energy. He doesn't. It's not like overt popping, bouncing up and down type of energy. He just has the energy of a man who knows he matters, Right. And on top of that, he's juicy and beefy, and he walks the walk and he talks the talk, which is and that that's such a huge step for a young guy to have stepped up early and taking on these responsibilities quite early in his career. So I hope. I feel like there's a part of passing the torch, not that I'm like taking myself out of contention, but more like now his fire is big and raging, and we can have amazing matches and rivalries, and the more if somebody like him gets lifted up, then we have more strong top level guys, and the more top level we have, the more impressive people we have, the better people will view our product and go, holy shit, they're like, if you go to one of these shows, they're gonna do flips off the tops, dive out of the sky, they're gonna press people over the head, they're gonna do power bombs, and they're gonna have funny characters, and they're gonna have like a mime coming out and having a friggin' mime spot, and people go, holy shit, that was funny. And that's what we want, So it's it all comes back down to my whole power up shtick. People think it's a gimmick, but it's more of an adage for me, like something I live by, and something I believe in very strongly.
I gotcha. And just terrible timing on my part.
Oh no, don't worry about it.
Well, like I said, you were the second ever Freedom Pro champion, meaning you beat the first one, which was Stanislaw Von Debron. Can you tell us about that match and maybe some what's your relationship with Stanislaw?
Absolutely. I honestly I love Stanislav. we have a long relationship. He is a Hulk Hogan of sorts of our, and I'm not talking about the backstage kind of politics kind of stuff. I'm talking about like the character energy of like the brilliant, vibrant energy of a professional wrestler. That kind of energy is what Stanislaw Von Debron has. He has turned babyface and heel so many times, and the crowd always loves him or hates him no matter what. And so Stanislav is just he's like the anti. Everyone was like, all of the old guard were really anti him, because he's not the type of guy who goes like, he doesn't do backflips, he doesn't do super kicks, but the crowd fucking loves him. He's amazing. He sells tickets. He's cool. He's crazy looking. Currently he doesn't have he's got one tooth off, and he's got like one big spike on his head. Like he does death matches in Poland. Fucking bleeds like a stuck pig. He is incredible. Just like a unique diamond of a man, and so I am truly proud to have wrestled with him and to have beaten him for that title. He currently held a Polish ultra-violent, I want to say it's PP. No, that's not it. But I don't think that's the title he held. It was some sort of an ultra-violent championship. Anyway, he held it for like 2 years, and like the crowds. When he was in Poland, the crowds hated him. They tried to kill him over that belt. If that isn't wrestling, I don't fucking know what is, man. Also, his Polish fucking hammer, he's given it to me a few times, almost caves my goddamn chest in every goddamn time he gives it to me. Ooh, it's the dumbest thing. Of all things, the fucking Polish hammer hurts like a bitch. So yeah, I mean, I gotta tell you, I have only deep admiration for the long tenure of Stanislaw Von Debron. He is, if you don't follow him, just find him. He's at Stanimania on Instagram. He is out of his gourd, man. I love him.
All right, now you could correct me if I'm wrong here. But you did a shot for WXW, no?
I was down there to train, but I haven't done any shows for them as of yet. It would be fantastic to do so, but I haven't gotten the chance.
Okay, so it was just a training seminar?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
For a period. I mean, WXW is in Europe, or like mainland Europe anyway, like the absolute premier, let's say, league of professional wrestling, and they are super impressive with the work that they do and the quality of the production, and and everything. And I'm extremely impressed with WXW, and I think anything that makes professional wrestling like that makes it better for all of us. Unfortunately, though, it's also like it's very in Germany, and anything that's in Germany stays in Germany because Germany has a very strong domestic market, kind of like Japan.
Right.
So it is unfortunate that's the case because there's no overlap between the domestic German market and, let's say, the fringe markets of Nordics or Eastern Europe or I don't know, England or something like that. But I can't fault WXW for that.
Right. Right. Now you wrestled Stock Adler in Finland. One of the a well-known and regarded, Finnish pro wrestler. So what was that experience like?
That was a very fun experience. Me and Adder go way back. I've been on the scene for a long time, and the first time I ever came over to Finland, I slept over at Stockadder's place. And he is a fantastic and peculiar man. He is delightful. And let me start it like this. So when I came over there the first time, I didn't know what to expect. Obviously, we're going to take a bus early in the morning, so I sleep over at his place. And inside of his apartment, there is almost nothing. There's a bench, a small commode for like a few potted plants and a small laptop computer, and a kitchen, a very tiny kitchen, like one square meter of kitchen that you can stand in, and that's just about what's in there. And this man, he is kind of like a monk, a real life ascetic monk. He lives by his own code. He walks in the woods and breathes the air and drinks black coffee, and that's it. He is a true ascetic, and he's phenomenal. A man of few words and an excellent professional wrestler. I hadn't gotten the chance. Oh yeah, I wrestled him very shortly in a three-way in a sort of a popcorn match in the middle of a card. Somewhere like the Winter Wars, maybe 12, maybe 13, maybe 5 years ago. But the one-on-one match had more. It was more fun. It was more exciting. It was also very. We were asked to make him look like not more babyface and me more heelish, but it became very obvious that wasn't like the dynamic of the match, and we adjusted as we went. Minor adjustments, really minor adjustments, and the characters got over with the crowd for who we were in such a natural, dynamic way, which was very fun and exciting. Such an easy match to work. He's really he's very easy to work with. So he's I see him as a good friend, very interesting, fascinating individual.
And it's interesting, you say that, you kind of read the crowd and felt it wasn't necessarily going the way you had planned, so you kind of adjusted accordingly. Which, not a lot of people actually know how to do that nowadays in pro wrestling. It's just, we're going to do exactly what we planned what we were going to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think very early on, I had matches with guys or like not just matches, but like seminars and times with guys like Starkadder, like Hamo the Wildman, and like Chaos from Denmark, and these guys, they're not just old guard. They are they are the oldest guard, the kind that only comes out, when you dig at the deepest of the cupboards, because they've been there for so long, and they know so much, and they taught me so much about like how to view wrestling not just as not as a choreography, but as a living, breathing energy, like, and then like once you pick up that, like that the crowd has a wave, they're up, they're down, and we need to I keep learning about like these waves of like how to pull them in, when to let them rest. I need to work on that. I fire up too much sometimes, and that's when you find these things, when you find that it's natural, like you'll feel what the crowd wants, and the match becomes better for it.
Definitely.
So it's an odd thing. Not saying that the modern style of wrestling can't be good either. Like there is, if you plan a really good match and you have two very in sync, skilled professional wrestlers, you can have something very, very engaging and very exciting as a result. So I'd say that as an art form, we have such a broad spectrum of things to work with. So
definitely. And obviously Finland different from Sweden. What were some of the differences just in crowd and wrestling culture wise did you see that was different compared to Sweden?
There are some very distinct differences. To begin with, the Sweden, the Finn, the mindset of the common Sweden, the common Finn, is slightly different. The common Finn is a very sit down, shut up, enjoy the moment, but also absolutely shut the fuck up kind of like. They have that kind of a vibe. The Swedes have more of a softer touch, kind of like, hey, we're here to have fun. Let's have fun. And the Danes even more so, more fun, more crazy. So when you come to Finland as a wrestler, and they have a long history of wrestling there, so they have a lot of fans, actually a lot of fans who keep coming. So that a lot of the fans actually know about the wrestlers. But the problem is, for the challenge for the Finns is that they have too little crossbreeding, which makes them one type. They have one type that they do more than everything else, and that is the serious fight man. Because as a Finn goes, shut the fuck up, let's fight. But the crowd, they've seen so much of shut the fuck up, let's fight, that all they want is to play. They want to have fun. They want to see, fucking chants and like crazy shit. And when you come to Finland and deliver crazy shit and get them on board with that crazy shit, they get so into it and they fucking love it. which is delightful. So, and you can see it a lot too with like the guys that get over in Finland. They are the not so serious guys. There's also like a few who are very, very good at professional wrestling, so they get over by being great. But a lot of the guys who can cover for not necessarily work rate, but with character, with their charisma, and those guys are super popular. The crowds love them. So I think honestly it's sort of similar. I want to say that the crowds, because the crowds I'm working a lot of the times are not smart marks, or like the people who've seen wrestling, the ones that consider themselves smart marks.
Right.
I work for people who haven't seen wrestling or who've seen it a few times, and they're kind of excited to see what happens next, and they can't tell the difference of a fisherman buster from a fisherman suplex from a moss covered Gordunzel, and so they don't really care. What they care about is like, were we engaged? Did someone grip us and pull us into the ring? And that's like my entire focus when I come in. I want to reach the crowd, and I want to get them excited about it. So, long-winded answer, but yeah, that's the difference between the Swede and the Finn.
Oh, no worries. Nobody's here to listen to me talk. And that's a great segue into my next question, and that is your tag team partner in the Party of Power. Tell us about Ben.
Oh yeah. There's another perfect diamond, I'll tell you that. So Benny Bacchus, just to begin with, in Nordic Elite Wrestling, I am the power part of the tag team, where he is the party. Together we are the Party of Power, or the P.O.P. And I have shamelessly stolen the RVD thumbs to my point thumbs to myself when I say P.O.P. But the crowd has no idea. Yeah. It's absolutely the RVD. So, but the crowd has no idea. So when we go P.O.P., P.O.P., start pointing the thumbs to ourselves, they get hot for it because they love it. They want to be there for the party. And so me and Benny, we met a couple of years ago, and I was looking at his character, and I was really really smitten because he's such a, when he's in the ring, and he was a beginner then, and he still only has a few years under his belt. When the bell rings, his character just explodes. It boils over, and you cannot help but love a man who lets every emotion, every thought, every piece of energy from this party man. Like he wears these leopard tights. He wears a glitzy jacket. He's got like crazy shades on, and he's got a mullet and a mustache, and he's got a bag of flour. And he usually puts the flour on his mustache as if he were doing a huge bag of something white. And
it's
you shouldn't talk about that.
It's just flour.
Oh yeah, it's just flour. It's just flour. But there's a suggestion that it could be something else. So this guy, when he's terrified, he is terrified. When he's excited, he jumps up and down and waves his arms. And so when you see that and you go, holy shit, like this guy's got so much character. It's he can get so excited that he completely forgets about the match. And I have to kind of get, back here, no, don't, like, here, like, I have to get him back on track. And it is the most funny fucking shit. He's gotten much better at it, but in the beginning, he could totally forget everything. it was the most funny shit. So, and then, like, when all the lights go off and the glitzy jacket comes off, he's this really cool, soft guy. He's intelligent and thoughtful and just like he's a very grown adult, very mature. And these two these two existences. How do they meet? I don't know. So, he's just like, what an exciting tag team partner to have. He always challenges me too. Like, he always comes to me with these ideas. Like today, we've got like, cookies in the bag instead, or today I have a wheel of fortune that we need to do something with, and I'm like, how the fuck do we fit a wheel of fortune into a match? But then we do, and it's super fun. And so he's such an exciting guy, just to work with. I feel like I've been able to help him a lot with his work and character and stuff, but he's helped me a lot too. He has challenged me and expanded my mind. So I'm super proud to have a funny ass tag team with that guy. He's amazing.
But that's not Viggen teaming with Benny. That's Flex Powers, no?
Yeah. There is a. I would say that there is a certain overlap between Viggen and Flex Powers, but it's the same man. Just like, what if Viggen bumped his head and absolutely thought he was a 1920s strongman for a while? So it's the crowd has. They see me sometimes as the other character and stuff like that. So it's not that. I try not to make so much of a distinction. I just go like, well, all right, I'm wearing different clothes today. I'm being slightly different, but it's still me. I've got like, because it's such an easy gimmick. Like, the gimmick is, I'm power, I'm energy, I'm fun. So Flex Powers and Mr. Power Viggen doesn't necessarily go like, hey, they can never meet. But it's more like, yeah, okay, that's just one aspect of the same man, or that's how I regard it anyway. Recently, I've even added like a third party to my piece. I just call him Coach. I've got these really, really small athletic shorts, red, and I look like, and a tank top, which has like, the small athletic shorts with the white border and the white border on the tank top, and a whistle, and sweatbands on my wrists and head, and a pair of very fast-looking glasses, and I just look like a muscle man from Muscle Beach, and. Sometimes the crowd needs something else, and then I'll be Coach as well. And it's just Coach Viggen. It's just Viggen bumped his head and became Coach for a while. I just try to play with it, really.
Well, we've talked about Mr. Power Up. We've talked about Viggen Thunderbolt. We've talked about Flex Powers. Can you tell us about Sunshine Pete?
Who told you about Sunshine Pete? Christ. Oh, somebody told you about that? Oh, man. Well, I'd say Sunshine Pete is the prototype for all of these. 10 years ago or more, I did a training camp with the Danes, with that guy I talked about, Chaos, and a few others in Randers, Denmark, which would be like, I don't want to be mean, but it's like bumfuck Louisiana, Denmark.
Okay.
Just so you know, like every Dane seems to hate on that place. But anyway, so we had a show at the end of that show, and it's like, okay, well, I don't have a gimmick, and I was right at the time. Dark Souls was a big thing, so Praise the Sun was a whole vibe. So it was like, okay, well, call me Sunshine Pete, and the Danes loved it because they started calling me Swooskins Pale, which sounds even more funny. It sounds so like I could have done that gimmick. I could absolutely have kept that gimmick because it's like, imagine a guy who imagines himself to be the sun, like radiant like the sun. I am beautiful. It's basically Bo Dallas, but me.
Gotcha.
So I did a match, and Solskins Pale was very popular. Unfortunately, I left Denmark right after that show, and I had to assume other gimmickry back in Stockholm. So there was no space for Sunshine Pete, but his finisher, which he never hit, is a sunset flip. I just want to point that out. That's important to me. That's how he wins.
I get it. Sunshine Pete, sunset flip.
Exactly. The match is over. The sun is set.
There you go.
Yep. That's it. So,
who knows? Maybe Viggen might bump his head, and we might see Sunshine Pete once again.
Oh, thank God! I would love that. Oh, that would be so funny. I want to get like, white and gold tights and a jacket that says Sunshine on the back. Oh, I would love it to be Sunshine.
Do you remember that
I don't know.
Cartoon, Mr. Sunshine? You can have like one of those, that logo.
Mr. Sunshine. I mean,
there was a
cartoon. I'm looking it up. Let me see. Oh, that thing.
Yeah.
Little Miss Sunshine, that thing? Oh, that thing, yeah. Yeah, Mr. Happy and Miss Sunshine. Is that the one you're thinking of?
Yeah, it was something like that. It was a long time ago. Maybe I'm getting my characters confused.
Maybe. But, I mean, there's a shit ton of things you can do with a gimmick like that, for sure. Oh, yeah. I still occasionally think about Bo Dallas running around with his victory lap, and he just runs over El Torito and doesn't see him. That is one of the, that is wrestling to me. It's so good.
I remember the time when he gave the crowd cookies, and afterwards he was like, I gave you cookies and you're booing me. I gave you cookies.
Yeah, he's a fucking genius. So, and everyone has their own image of professional wrestling. Everyone loves different things. I really love the characters and the outfits and the pageantry, and just being able to push the limits and see how far you can go in a different direction. There's so many amazing things you can do in professional wrestling, and unfortunately, I'm just one man. I wish I could split into these characters and fight myself sometimes.
But another interesting pro wrestling thing you've done is you've actually used a kid as a foreign object.
Hell yeah. That is also one of my that is one of my pride moments. Holy shit, I am so proud about that moment. It was a let's say 6-man or 8-man elimination style match, and it immediately just ended up being everybody spread in different directions, and I feel like the crowd probably saw 30% of the action at most. So they had no idea. But at some point in this match, and I don't even know how I got there, I found a kid in the crowd, and I see my opponent, and I'm like, hell yeah! I just look him in the eye, and he's like, I think he understands what I'm going for. So I go over to the kid and pick him up, and the parents go, no, please, no. And I'm like, yes, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And I turn him around, stick his feet out, and I just run him right into the opponent before I'm like, I hoist him up, and we go, yeah. And I put the kid back down, and everybody was super happy about that. It's these moments with kids they're so important. I had this moment with I was wrestling on the Isle of Jersey. The Isle of Jersey. It's in the English Canal between England and France.
Okay.
And we were getting our asses beat. They threw me out of the ring, and I'm like, and the ring itself is super lit up, but the crowd is in the complete darkness, so I can't see anyone because I'm blinded. And I look up, and out of the darkness comes I swear to you, 4-year-old child, very small boy, and he looks me in the eye and he says, "Don't give up," and I'm like. I just exploded with fire and started, fucking walking around the ring like a bushwhacker. I was like, come on. Then I accidentally called my opponents, "Come on, you bastards." And the promoter chewed me out for that because you can't say bastard in England. It was super weird. But we got so many hugs from the kids after the match. It's amazing.
It sounds like a scene from a movie, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it is. I will never forget that. That is a core memory, right there.
And I'm just wondering if that kid that you used to as a foreign object, maybe one day he'll be a pro wrestler, and maybe you could do a tag team.
That would be very funny. I think that kid is a regular at the Danish shows. Well, it was a Danish show I did it at. So I wouldn't be surprised if that kid, who would at this point probably be close to 15 or 15-ish. It's always hard to tell with the kids. But the Danish have a school of their own. It's called, I think it's the Nordic Elite Wrestling Academy in Copenhagen. So they've been training a lot of youngsters, a lot of 16, 17-year-olds who are, for example, Madison Morgan. I want to say she's 17. Yeah, she's very young. But she's super talented, and she's having matches all over the Nordics and in, I think, in Europe as well, all over. So there are some real cool up-and-comers who are going to blow some minds in a few years.
Yeah, I didn't even know that she was that young.
Oh, yeah. But Maddie is, she's so impressive. She's a very cool young lady. She takes no shit. In a few years, she's gonna be a crazy heartbreaker. I'll tell you that.
Now, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. You helped Mori Hermundsson train?
Oh yeah, I did. He's a YouTuber in Sweden for let's say Uppdrag Mat, which means mission food, which is not exactly what he's been doing lately. But they have about 700,000. That is a lot of subscribers. But yeah, 700,000 subscribers. And they're quite popular in Sweden. So they were looking for odd jobs, and I was like, hell yeah, let's come on and do some odd jobs with me. So he came over, and he is tall. He's like 205, or that would be, he's almost 7 feet tall.
Wow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, I'm 5'10", so I'm like normal. But he just like he is a full giant head above me, massive. So he was super cool. Like he's really. Oh yeah. I'm even in the. It's Sveriges märkligaste jobb. And nobody's going to be able to find that in English, but the weirdest jobs in Sweden anyway. It has 1 million views, and I'm in the starter segment of that thing. Holy shit. That's weird, man. That is fucked up. a million Swedes. People have been recognizing me and going like, "Hey, aren't you that guy from that thing?" Yep, that's me. He is super cool, but damn, he is the most unathletic person I've seen. It was very funny. What do you call it when you just forward roll, like a regular roll over your head? He wasn't quite able to do that.
I could understand that being so tall.
Yeah, but I think his brain stopped him from doing that. But we were able to. I was able to grab onto him from behind and just push him over, so he passed his own head and was able to roll. But so the production crew laughed at him. It was super funny. And he was legitimately annoyed when the production crew were giggling at him. It was super funny. It's always really, really fun to have these people and show them how wrestling works, because like my philosophy is that wrestling should be considered not just theater, but it should be considered a physical experience. So I'm always like, you will chop me, and then I will chop you, or like let's tackle each other a few times so you feel the impact, because it's very important. Because the moment you start doing this, even like I'm not full power chopping these guys, I'm just using 30% tops, but the moment they start to understand and see me wind back the hand, they go like, whoa, dude, I'm in deep water. And of course you are. Professional wrestling is really dangerous and scary.
Right.
So the moment we open that, people can see in his eyes, they can see that he is now in fear. He is now in a state of and that makes professional wrestling real, because it is real. It happens right there, right in the ring. 100%. It happens every time. And that reality, that's my kayfabe. Like that's my reality of like, you don't know what's going to happen, but when we fall from these high heights, you can see that we're in pain, because we are. It fucking sucks. It hurts. It hurts like a bitch. And so my wrestling is to make people believe in that moment that, damn, this is what, I don't know what's going on, but this happens and this is real. So that's like my professional wrestling, my idea that everyone has their own way of professional wrestling. It's not like there's not one truth to it.
Right. Everybody has
but this is my opinion.
Right. Everybody has their own ideologies of it.
Yeah.
But it does sound like Maury won't be joining you in the ring anytime soon.
No. I think, for one thing, he is incredibly famous and busy, and also I think he got enough. Like I let him give me a big boot. He came in for an assist. I think he enjoyed the time and he is done. But maybe it would be cool to have him back, though. He's really cool, really nice guy.
So not the next Logan Paul.
No, unfortunately.
Right. that brings us to Viggen's Bizarre Adventure. You're a pro wrestler that goes up and down the roads, and weird, crazy, and bizarre things are bound to happen. Can you tell us a road story that fits that description?
Oh man, bizarre adventures.
Yes.
Road story specifically. Oh yeah, absolutely. So just now, we had like a few weeks ago, we had a couple of shows at Sweden Rock, which is a very big Swedish rock festival. You know, we had Alice Cooper and stuff like that. So it's it's a legitimate festival with hundreds of thousands of people visiting. It's a big fucking thing. We had a couple of shows there, and I was driving the truck down. We load the truck. We bring as much stuff as we can because we figure that this is. We're gonna need extra planks, maybe. I don't know. We have no idea what's waiting for us down there. So we take the road and we get not so far. Like next state over, and it would be like we just crossed the state lines over to that kind of feeling. And then all of a sudden a police cruiser just rolls up next to me, and they're like holding up a little spade that says police, and I'm like, why do you have a spade that says police? You're dressed as a police officer in a police cruiser. You don't need the spade. But anyway, he flashes the spade, and I'm like, I guess they want me to follow them. And I'm like, fuck, what did we do? It's in the morning. I haven't been doing anything bad. I've been driving legally. I mean, the truck can't even get above 85.
Right.
So I mean, and I follow them, and they have me blow, like, yeah, no alcohol in the blood. They measured the truck. You are 800 kilograms. That would be let's say 2,000 pounds. Okay. Is that it? Maybe 2,000 pounds over. Yeah, ish. Let's say flat 2,000 pounds over. That's a lot of fucking weight.
Yes.
So, all three of us in the truck were like, what the fuck do we do? And they tell me, like, if this were, 3,000 or 4,000 pounds, we would be taking your license here and now. And I'm like, shit. But they're super kind. They just give me like a $250 fine, and they tell us, you guys have to rent another truck. Like, you cannot drive this. So we're like, what the fuck do we do? Are we allowed to drive away from here? We have too much stuff in the truck. But they let us go just to get over there and get some other stuff. So we had to basically two people had to get out of there and unload 2,000-3,000 pounds of steel, mats, ropes, trolleys and shit in blasting midday sun, and then we left one of the guys to rent the goddamn truck, and which in turn had to wait for the Finns, because the promoter hadn't bought the Finns tents or sleeping arrangements, so they did that on the day. But as you can expect, buying these takes a shit ton of time, because you got to find the right stuff, and you got to get everyone to an outlet that sells this stuff and stuff. So not only does like half of the ring arrive on time for us to build up, the Finns arrive midnight. We build up the ring, and then the Finns poor bastards, have to go to the camping and set up tents in the dark. In the cold dark, just to have a place to sleep after driving riding a boat, driving all day. building the damn ring. They were so miserable on the day after. I haven't seen the likes, man. So I don't know. That was the first road story that came to mind today. I do have plenty of stories, but yeah.
It's definitely an adventure to say the least, I would say.
Oh yeah, we were deeply worried that the ring was gonna be left. So, the fuck do we do? We even had to send two guys in the early morning just to get the truck back because we couldn't leave it at some more convenient place. So we had to send two guys halfway through the goddamn country back to the exact station we rented the car and then drive back to the festival. God damn it. Oh, what an event. But the wrestling itself went pretty good.
Alright. Now, can you tell us about your love of anime?
Who told you? Who told you? Yeah, no, absolutely. I can tell you, in extreme detail, but in short order, when I started watching anime as a kid, it was not easily available. So you had to kind of download it from sketchy sites and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And so, you came across what you came across, and you found what you found. But over time, more than anything, I was able to learn Japanese from watching anime. So I've been to Japan many times now, and I speak fluent Japanese. Not native. I do not speak like a native. But I speak very fluent. I am very conversational.
Genki desu ka?
How about?
Genki desu ka?
Genki desu yo. So, とっても元気ですよ、俺は. It's so from my love of manga and anime came this, at first it was the youthful, oh, this is so cool kind of stuff, but then it became more of an appreciation for the culture itself, the food, the hospitality, and the reverence for nature and stuff like that, and for art in its own right. So I think as an adult I've grown to more appreciate the more sensible parts of anime. For example, I can't stand things like Attack on Titan because it's so mainstream and it's so shock value. There's nothing for me to fetch there anymore because I've already seen Elfen Lied and I've already seen those kinds, and I'm done. I don't need these stupid shock value. Oh, your character got ripped limb from limb. Okay, I don't give a fuck. I honestly don't give. But on the other hand, I love something like Dungeon Meshi because that thing has character development and consistency and the delightful pauses between, and no shoehorned actual bullshit oh, we need anime or we need MMA in this anime. Dude, leave that shit out. Just give me something that has a holistic enjoyment of the art form. And then so I've become more of a connoisseur. But I think that is a natural progression for anyone. I used to love Bleach and Naruto and stuff. I've watched them in excessive amounts, but I just can't anymore. I've seen the format, I've seen the structure, I've seen all that. I want I'm reading what's it called, Hunter x Hunter, and I like the latest chapters where they're on this boat and everything, like there's a political scam, there's or like a scheme, there's a lot of characters battling each other on like 5 different levels. There's some various subplots that sort of weave into each other. That's my jam. Like, that's what I watch. It's I don't know. It's an incredible. I want to say like anime and professional wrestling have something extremely deeply in common, and maybe it's just like the broadness of the art form. Like anything goes.
Right.
Maybe that's the one thing that puts them together, because that's how I feel about it. Like, you can express a million ways, and you can enjoy a million ways. You can enjoy like an old school character versus character. You can have a clown versus a mime match, or you can have a fast-paced, high energy, and the same thing with anime. You can have your Attack on Titan. You can have your super convoluted character animes and stuff like that. And I think there's some sort of a meeting there, but I also can't tell you exactly what it is. But I do love them both.
I think you're maybe the first person that we've had on the show that actually said that they don't like Attack on Titan.
I'm too old, man. I can't deal with new mainstream.
There's a couple of good ones. I will say that.
It's not that Attack on Titan is the worst anime ever produced or anything like that. It's more like, imagine from my side. I've seen all this, right? I even read the manga for a distance. Like I'm like 100 chapters in or something at the very least. I know exactly what's going on. It just doesn't scratch the itch. There's no internal consistency in the world. It's very clear that the author had a starting point, an idea of where they wanted to go, and then they adapted from the starting point to where they wanted to go without taking these two in consideration, which makes the evolution of like where this what the characters have in terms of tools when the show starts and what the characters have later in it makes it very inconsistent. So a series like Dungeon Meshi or Hunter x Hunter has much better internal consistency, and that tastes so much better to me.
I definitely understand what you mean, because the simple fact that you're a Hunter x Hunter fan tells me what kind of anime fan you are. Because there's Hunter x Hunter fans, and then there's anime fans. And I know that on a personal level, because I am a Hunter x Hunter fan as well.
I'd say, if anything, I'd put myself in a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fan.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's where I belong. Like, yeah.
Which is your favorite JoJo?
Which one? It's always Jotaro. Of course, he's the coolest. I mean, on the other hand, like, let's see, which one is the one that gets old? Is it Joseph or Jonathan? Yeah. It's Joseph. It's Joseph, right?
Yeah.
Joseph. I mean, he is endlessly cool though, because he's always on point. Like, he's in the series for so long, and he's always so good. Whenever, like, whatever change he takes, he's still like badass, cool, funny, or entertaining. I mean, Jotaro really falls off towards the end, like, of his existence. Yeah, it's so hard. Okay, it's a toss-up between the two of them.
Fair enough. I like Jotaro as well, and Giorno. Just absolutely smashed it in his season, I would say.
All right, fair. Yeah, I mean, there's it's a lot of characters, but yeah. So I too old for a new anime, or like at least mainstream.
Fair enough. All right. Well, you mentioned going to Japan. You actually met Minoru Suzuki, the king of pro wrestling. What was that experience like?
It was very delightful. He is I've been there to his shop in Harajuku, Pile Driver, a few times, trying to see if he was there. And this time I got lucky. He was in. I think he has such an aura of like badassery, and it's so nice. Like it's always such an honor to get a chance to meet a guy like that. I bought one of the shirts for I bought them before, but they got old. I bought one of the shirts for Takayama Mania, which is Takayama took a serious injury and is still, as far as I understand, severely paralyzed. So the shirts go to his welfare. So I asked Suzuki himself to, pick out one of the shirts for me. It says, I think it says Takaya Mania. No, it says German Suplex, the Everest style, and Takaya Mania. And my finisher usually is the German Suplex as well. So I'm like, of course I have to, I have to represent. So I have I'm proud to say I have a shirt that says German Suplex on it, which was handpicked by Minoru Suzuki himself. Feels really good.
I would say that's just as big as winning any championship, if I'm being honest.
It's certainly a prized possession, and you'd have to fight me to pry it out of my cold dead hands.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's a very cool thing.
Okay. Now, you actually had a podcast at one point. The Face to Face podcast.
I did, yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah. So I did. The Face to Face podcast was it was more of let's see. I tried something new during COVID times, and to see if I liked it, to see if I enjoyed it. The idea was that I was going to try and get as many Japanese wrestlers as possible on the show and talk to them in their own language, and see if they see what kind of fun and interesting answers I could get out of the Japanese crowd, and then translate it back over to English. Unfortunately, it was a little bit laborious, and I want to say that probably for the average viewer, it became hard to listen to, because there would be a conversation in Japanese and translations to English, and it's like, I mean, the topic is super interesting, but there's something lacking in making this format work. I had two guests, Shigehiro Irie and Mao, both incredibly fun and interesting and cool people to have on, and I was very close to getting, I think, let's see, I was close to getting a female wrestler who's name slips my mind at this moment. If it was Iwatani Mayu or if it was somebody. Well, anyway. But at that point, DDT caught on, and they were like, "No," and I was like, "Shit, that's like my entire contact base here." Like through Iria and through Mao, and it sort of fell apart at that point. So there were some challenges with it, but it was super interesting just to get a chance to talk with these people and hear their stories from the road and hear about their life, stuff like that. It was like even more so like a great chance for me to just hang out with these people. After a few years later, when I was in Japan last time and met Suzuki, I also hung out with Mao. We drank beer. We ate at Ebisu. It's a pro wrestler run. It's DDT owned pro wrestler run bar and like in izakaya in of all places in downest downtown Shinjuku. That would be what's it called the Kabukicho, which is the red light district of Shinjuku. That place. Have you ever been to Japan? Like it rhetorically. Okay, yeah. Like, if you walk into that place as a Western person, Western presenting person, you will be swarmed with people trying to drag you into various strip clubs, bars, stuff like that. It is an amazing melting pot of neon, small criminality, bars, and tourists and locals looking for a good party time. It is the craziest place. And then, like, on one of the most main squares, you take a little stairway down into a cellar, and in there is the most cozy, nice, family-feeling place. The Ebisu izakaya, and the people there are so friendly. The guys who work there and the gals are all wrestlers, and it is just like it's like stepping out of the storm and into somebody's a delightful living room where you just get to hang out and eat delicious food. It is the weirdest feeling in the world. And then Mao took us to see like a live a live playing what's it called, a small concert of a band of also wrestlers, or at least partially wrestlers, and stuff like that. So he is, if you ever get the chance to hang out with Mao, he is super cool, just a delightful person.
Right.
So yeah.
That will bring us to the colossal question. Let's say that they're making a movie about you. Every movie has a soundtrack. What would be the first 3 songs on your movie soundtrack?
First 3 songs. It is certainly Danger Zone with Kenny Loggins.
Okay.
That's because I use that as an entrance, and like it's the upward pace and the flowing of the energy of the song is perfect for that type of stuff. It is then followed by, oh man, songs specifically. Probably The Chain by, I want to say, Fleetwood Mac.
The Chain?
Yeah, the Chain, Fleetwood Mac. That thing is a, it's kind of melancholic and stuff like that. There was a portion in my career when when there was a lot of fracture in the Swedish scene, and The Chain is such a representation of like how I was feeling back then, in a sense. It's a fantastic song. And what would be the last one? Don't Stop Believing by Journey. I'll put that one on there. It's like just high energy, high pace, and the great message of like it's got that power up vibe for sure.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that would be my trio.
Now that we have the soundtrack down, everybody knows you get the soundtrack first, then you write the script, and then you go with the casting. Who plays you, and you can't say yourself because you are legally obligated to make a Stan Lee-esque cameo?
There's something weird going on just thinking about this. Well, of course, since I'm such a superstar, if somebody's making a movie out of my life, it would be a high budget name. So
unlimited budget.
Unlimited budget. I mean, I guess they're both getting to it. Like, it's just like picking out of the sky. I was picking like somebody incredibly great like Brad Pitt, but he's really old. But he's really old now.
CGI.
So that kind of
CGI.
Oh yeah. CGI Brad Pitt, like, or just time traveling backwards.
There you go.
Or like a Brad Pitt replacement. I think he'd do a great job.
Hell yeah.
I think he'd be a better me than I am. So.
Well, now that we have you casted, every movie has a supporting cast. Who would be 3 people significant to you and your story that would be in your movie, and who would play them?
3 people. Of course, my constant supporter and significant other, who would play Az? because we're doing let's see, I need to, like, it doesn't make any sense at all because there's what's her name? Oh god. Shit.
Who was you thinking?
Let me Google who played against Antonio Banderas in Zorro. Her name is
Penelope Cruz?
No, not Kath. I wasn't thinking of Catherine Zeta-Jones, but Catherine Zeta-Jones would work. Anyway, as Catherine Zeta-Jones, let's see, Ender Carr. Have you talked to Ender Carr? He is a mad cool dude. Ender Carr was my student at the start of his period. Now he's my sparring partner when he's not busy, being in Japan and being a fucking superstar. But Ender Carr would be played by, let's see, that might be Antonio Banderas himself, actually, or something like that. It still doesn't make any sense, but
Okay.
Cara, take it, because he is like, both of them have that, like, both Antonio Banderas and Catherine Zeta-Jones can have that energy of like, fuck you, don't come here and talk no shit. Like, don't fuck around, kind of vibes. So, Antonio Banderas and Catherine Zeta-Jones. So, this makes no sense at all. Okay, all right. Oh God. Mm. And who's the third character? Okay, and the third character. I can't quite figure out. Like, there are so many friends along the way. Maybe Stanislav. Who would play Stanislav in this story? You gotta have a Stanislav.
Oh, absolutely.
Or like a Benny Bacchus. Like one or like both would be in the movie, but who can I figure out to play these two? This is too hard, man.
Would you like to leave it to casting?
I'll give I can't figure out who to cast, but who's the guy that plays Spider-Man right now?
Tom Holland?
Yeah, Tom Holland. Since I can't think of an actor for those two, they would have to be in the movie. But I'd put, like, I have this kid. He's about 17 now too. Who's like, I'm training him. I'm trying to support him, and he has these dreams of wrestling. He's really good at wrestling, but he is still young. he would be played by Tom Holland.
There you go.
He's a delightful kid.
All right. Well, I mean, it's a we have a big cast here. Brad Pitt,
Yeah.
Antonio Banderas, a blockbuster to say the least.
For sure.
And you could pre-order the tickets now.
Absolutely. Just go into www.viggenisuperstar.com and get your tickets right now.
Now onto a controversial subject. Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance?
I am a permissive man, and I'll say that any food is an experience and food is an experiment. There is no right and there is no wrong, as long as somebody enjoys it. And I am quite certain that somebody enjoys pineapple on pizza. And, myself, like, well, it's a weird combination, but it can be pretty okay if you like, if the ham is salty, and you don't go overboard on the pineapple, you can have a decent. Tastes pretty okay, so for it.
It sounds like you lean more towards anti, but you don't judge the pro pineapple on pizza. Would I be correct?
I mean, no, I don't lean anywhere. I've had it. I've tasted it. It's not terrible. And it's not an affront to God or any other holy institution, whichever one you would like. So no, I'm more like, it's not what I would order typically, but if I'm hungry and there's pineapple on a good ham pizza, I'll fucking eat it. I'm hungry.
Okay.
Pretty good, actually. Sometimes.
Now, what's your spirit Pokemon?
My spirit Pokemon. It's Machamp.
Oh, yeah.
What else?
I see the similarities.
It's very easy. I'm sitting here flexing, feeling like Machamp. I fucking love Machamp. Like, the entire, like, what is it? Machop, Machoke, Machamp. I'm here for the entire my family.
Now, we love the late great Tracy Smothers on the show. Do you know the acronym for Doug? THUG.
I'm sorry. Please say that again. I'm not sure I
We
think that.
we love the late great Tracy Smothers. Do you know the acronym for Doug? THUG.
The acronym, what, do you mean what the acronym THUG stands for? Is that the question?
Yes.
No, I have no idea actually. What does the acronym THUG stand for?
T is for terrible, H is for hell, U is for ugly, and G is for jail, 'cause a Doug can't spell. Yes, we love the late great Tracy Smothers on the show, trying to keep the memory alive.
Nice. That's very nice.
Weirdest question you'll be asked on a wrestling interview, hopefully. Would you ever consider wrestling a Rock? Not Dwayne Johnson, not the country, an actual physical Rock.
Yeah, for sure. That would be very interesting to make work. But I am no stranger to challenges. I actually I've been getting into strongman lately, and we do a lot of rock lifting. I like natural rocks, big ones, like heavy ones. And imagine somebody okay, this next match is between the Thunderbolt and the Rock, and somebody a few boys they have to walk the Rock into the ring, and they put the Rock in the center of the ring, and we do a whole spiel about, did you smell what the Rock is cooking? And then I come out and I try to lift the Rock and it's too heavy. Stuff like that, and eventually I lift the Rock and I throw it out of the ring, and people go yeah or something, and that would be a fucking awesome match, though. I'm here for it. I'd do it.
Well, just for context, there is a wrestler named Psycho Mike that indeed wrestled a Rock for over 15 minutes in a Tungsten Man match. That's an Iron Man match that lasts for 2 weeks.
Oh, God. Yeah, Psycho Mike is a genius.
Yes.
It's, every time I've seen that man in videos or anything, he has so much, he's like a supernova of charisma.
Oh yeah.
Like his charisma has fallen into itself and completed he's a sun of charisma. So we all orbit his charisma. Whenever we get too close, we're like, oh no, I'm getting sucked into the Psycho Mike. that is the level of power his charisma has. I feel like if we do not see him at the highest levels within a few years, I'd be so surprised. Also, he's fucking jacked. I mean, he's crazy.
Yes.
So
he has the whole world ahead of him, and yet he did not beat that Rock in that match.
Of course. Yep.
On a more serious note, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
That's a good question. I hope to see myself in Japan, or in I hope to see myself outside of the Nordics. I've got a lot of fun stuff. I'm no Psycho Mike. He's a god among men, but I've got some really good stuff that is fun and exciting and endearing, and I feel like when I get my chance to prove what I have, people will go, shit, this is good stuff, and hopefully so anyway. And I hope to get my stuff out there and show people what's cooking. Ender Carr already did it, so he's already shown that Sweden can produce some huge quality not just him either. Alice Inc. is another one with huge potential. So I just need to get my foot in the door, and then I'll get out there. Hopefully, anyway.
Oh, yeah. And what is a match people should go out of their way to see that best shows off what you are all about as a pro wrestler?
A match of mine? Let me see if I can find. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Nordic Elite Wrestling has a few free matches of mine. Let's see which ones they have.
I think you're actually the first person to Google, YouTube, your matches right then and there.
Well, I mean, it's by now I feel like I've done a shit ton of matches, and I don't know which ones are on YouTube, like on just an immediate thought. But there is so Nordic Elite Wrestling has a YouTube page, and I feel like this is a more high-paced match than. Like I like to play with fun character and stuff, but this is a fun match. We got 800 people in the crowd. It's one of the biggest shows, or like 850, like one of the biggest shows ever done on Danish soil. It is the full match: Party of Power versus RandersPagne at Amager Bio 2023. That match is free view on Nordic Elite Wrestling's YouTube page. So check that one out, and you'll see me and Benny Bacchus go toe-to-toe with the Ranners boys and have a great time doing it.
Perfect. If you send me the link, I will put it in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox, for anybody that hasn't seen it, wants to see it, wants to re-see it after this interview.
Cool.
And since we are nearing the conclusion of this interview, we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom. This is our speed round or bonus round, the round where we see who you really are. Are you ready?
It seems I have to be. Hit me.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
Fuck, The Rock.
The wrestler The Rock or the physical Rock?
I prefer not to say. No, the Rock is the first one that came to mind. The Rock.
Okay. Worst wrestler?
The one who screamed "my vag, my vag, my vag" in TNA.
Okay.
I don't know her name. She has face paint. I don't know, something Martinez, maybe something. That one.
Wasn't that Rosemary?
I said my vag, like that. That you get that one.
Yeah, I got you. You're main eventing WrestleMania for the World Championship. Who is your opponent?
Hulk Hogan. Lightning round shit. I'm just saying the first thing that comes to mind. Anyway, keep going.
If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
Stone Cold.
Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is
real.
We would have.
That makes no sense.
We would have also accepted tastes great on toast.
Yep.
Squash, vegetable or fruit?
Match.
I will accept.
Match type.
I will accept that answer. New Japan wrestler Taichi, his ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question, what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
As small as possible without losing TV license.
I think that that depends from region to region at this point.
Absolutely.
All right. So as long as it doesn't get you kicked off TV.
Yeah. Oh, you gotta work the ass.
And the last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
No. Never.
And that is the correct answer.
It's I'm in Sweden. There's a very limited amount of people who know about Darby Allin to begin with here, so I wouldn't expect that to happen.
Well, you would be surprised. I've had a Swedish guest on that has had a conversation about Darby Allin. So
Okay, all right.
It's not out of the realm of possibilities at this point.
I'll bite.
That will conclude this interview. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this with me.
Oh, anytime. This was super fun.
I appreciate that. We try to keep it interesting for our guests. And once again, where can we find all things vegan on social media and your merchandise?
You can find me on Instagram at VIGGEN_Thunderbolt V. That's where you can find what goes on with me, my links, my stuff like that. And if you want to get a hold of the sweet Power Up merch, you're gonna have to message me, and I'll figure out a way to send it. Even if you are in Louisiana, even if you are in Texarkana, I will find a way to send a Power Up shirt to you if you feel that you need one.
All right. And you don't have to go looking for it. All of the links to all his social media will be in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox. Simply click the link. A new tab will appear on whatever device you are on. You have no excuse. Buy a damn shirt. Of course, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, but on YouTube and Castbox. This was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us tomorrow as we interview Guillermo, and join us every Tuesday and Wednesday for new incredible interviews. Follow the show at Wrestling with E, but on X, Dread, and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Alright, when I say wrestling with, you say entertainment, okay?
Got it.
For our special guest, Viggen Thunderbolt, Calico Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with
Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.